This is everything I want in a showcase from Xbox, from anyone. This was non-stop games I cared about with either release dates or release windows. It wasn't full of crap that was annoying or stupid to me. It wasn't full of like dumb trailers and just filler content. I mean, it was just very solid and straightforward. And then you get what is quite possibly the best ever full gameplay showing of one particular game in the 45 minutes of Starfield. So we're talking, I got to see things like Fable and Avowed, and I actually get to see, to some extent, well, we're going to come back to this, but to some extent, got to see some actual gameplay. Got to see Hellblade 2. Got to see the new, Xbox Series S console, which is, that's not blowing my socks off, but still something cool.
Kind of surprised me. They had a weird placement for that.
I thought. Weird placement because it was like their show ender, except Starfield kind of comes in after.
Yeah.
But and then you got Starfield, and you got all these. You get to see what Compulsion was working on. You got to see what In Exile was working on, and the things they were working on actually look pretty cool, whether I'll buy them or not. I think the clock one particularly looks kind of neat to me. But we got to see what the studios were doing. We got release windows. We got all the Starfield we wanted. The show didn't waste my time. It's everything I want in a showcase. I mean,
didn't waste your time with the Sea of Thieves, Return to Monkey Island.
No, it didn't. Because the thing is, they also had this thing running throughout the show, which was Day One Game Pass. Day One Game Pass. Oh, this is coming this year. Forza, Starfield, Sea of Thieves content. What was one other game they had content coming for other than Sea of Thieves?
If you count it, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Flight Simulator, yeah, that's what I was talking about. So it's here's all these things you can expect that are coming this year, plus all these things are coming Day One Game Pass. Oh, and here's some actual bangers you actually care about that are coming in 2024. Now, the release date could slip, but if we actually got Avowed and Hellblade 2 next year, we're talking about major games I actually care about. So to not just continue to repeat myself, I loved everything they showed. They didn't waste my time. It was awesome. We got plenty of Starfield. Objective 10 out of 10. Now, this is usually where Josh and I would come in and say, Brian, is the hyperbole getting you? I really don't think so, because my subjective's like a 7. Because for me, and I know I didn't give these guys near as much time to explain their scores, but for me, Starfield was amazing. I was probably already going to buy it. Mm-hmm. Fable, they didn't show enough for me after all these years. Avowed and Hellblade, I got to wait till next year. And there was no huge shocker moment like a Halo Tatanka or a Halo 3 Anniversary. There was not anything to blow my mind, shock me. I kind of knew all this was coming. But then the one thing that helped me get to my Objective 10 score is I can't hold this showcase accountable for the sins of the 2020 showcase, right? Because what I'd like to say is, we got this much of Fable and this much of Avowed and stuff. When they were announced in 2020, 3 years later, we're still not having these giant gameplay breakdowns. But I can't fault this showcase for what 2020 did. So 10-10 objectively, subjectively a 7 because I like Starfield. I like the little bits of Fable and Avowed and stuff. But there was no shockers for me. And obviously my biggest game of the summer is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And that, so that was...
When's that come out? That's October, right? Is that October?
No,
or September.
That's next year. Early next year. First quarter.
What am I... Oh, I'm getting it mixed up with something
Fable,
else then.
Or for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. So we got Crayton, you're more...
Yeah, I'm getting mixed up with 16.
Would you say, Crayton, for your objective?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
My issues would be no surprises, really.
Yeah, no surprises.
Yep.
But it was all very concrete.
Release dates, it was just coming 2024, and nowadays that doesn't mean much because they might just push it back.
Yeah, it could get slipped.
So,
it was super vague. It was
even if they would have given a definitive release date, they probably would have pushed it back anyways, because that's what everyone's doing now. But
pretty much.
It would have been nice still to have an actual release date to look forward to.
And then Josh, is the subjective 6, you said?
Yeah,
or objective 6?
Objective it's a 6. I'd say subjective it's a 7.
Okay.
So I'm close. I mean, last place.
So these guys are mid-good, and I'm at one of the best showcases I've ever seen.
It was for the same reasons as Crayton, though. Aside from the regular content updates for live service stuff, then you have games that every time I saw one, it was 2024.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's cool. I can play stuff like Starfield this year. I have stuff to look forward to in 2024, but then you don't know if it's going to slip.
Yeah. Also,
and
a lot
then
of
Fable
the stuff,
gets nothing. They're
a
just
lot of the stuff said in-game footage, but it's not.
No, I don't.
It's not.
You said no CG trailers.
It's not really game.
That was a bait and switch.
Yeah, that was a bait and switch.
That was
they weren't technically. It's one of those things where you're not technically lying, but it looks like a lie. It sounds like a lie. It feels like a lie. It might as well be a lie.
That Fable one, that's what got me. Is looking back on it, I see that's why that one was at the very beginning.
Yeah,
because it had no release date, whereas everything else was.
That's a 2025 at earliest.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought too.
But when I compare it to these other showcases, right? Because we talked about the Sony showcase, we talked about the Summer Games Fest showcase. Both the Sony and the Summer Games Fest one had so much filler and so much sag in the middle and stuff I didn't care about and commercials and stuff like that. And I know that we didn't get these guys have said we didn't get any big surprise from the showcase, but we got basically it was like all the things we wanted, we got them. And we got them usually with, except for Fable, like release dates or release windows. And they just showed us stuff that mattered, right? Like, if you're, we always talk about how showcases waste our time. Like, that 45 minutes of Starfield was 100% what I wanted. That was time fulfilled. And I know there's some games that we don't care about we're going to get into in this list, but I still think even the games I don't care about are more personal to me. Like the whole world screamed out in terror when Foam Stars was showed off because no one gives a shit about Foam Stars.
So what did you think about the Summer Games Fest in Summer?
I don't even remember.
This showcase was so much better than those.
I get it, though.
I feel like this showcase was just incredibly solid. I couldn't have, if I had some critiques, I'd say a little more in game, and I wanted one shocking surprise. Like the biggest shocking surprise was probably the Xbox Series S Black 1 terabyte
Yeah,
console.
that sucks.
Which is like that's not even.
I mean, I'm happy for some people that are interested. I think there were some people.
I think it goes to show that console's more popular than the X for sales.
That's the one Jeff bought for Starfield.
Yeah, I think so. And that's good. People are thinking about Starfield. They're probably going to go September. I'm picking up my S Black.
And really, the difference between
I
don't want to get ahead. No. I was going to talk about that collector's edition they announced.
Okay. Well, we're getting there.
I was going to say the difference between Series S and Series X performance for Starfield is resolution. That's it.
And I don't
who
personally
cares?
care.
Most people, they're not going to care.
If it was 60 frames to 30, that would be huge for me.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was interesting too is they said Phil said in that Kind of Funny Games interview that they would have an answer for the 60 versus 30 frames per second.
They had one.
Nothing.
Well, it was after.
Not on the show, but after.
After Todd's like, you know how we do.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll get into it. I kind of want to, when me and Joe and Josh went through the Summer Games Fest, we spent a lot of time on the titles that we didn't care about. We'll try to spend less time on that, but let's start off from the beginning, top of the show. First thing to show off was Fable right off the bat. We get this conversation with, and I'm reading this because I don't know the actor off the top of my head, Richard Ayoade, or
I'm not sure how to pronounce it either, but I like him.
Yeah, this funny guy talking, and we kind of see some Fable characters in the background, and it ends up where you get to this point where the Fable character enters what essentially is a giant's home, and the guy talking to us was the giant, and it shows us some very little quick snippets of B-roll gameplay that doesn't have any UI, which is what I kind of thought beforehand we'd get that, but I was hoping we'd get more than this. And then it ends up with what it appears to be is the character looks at the screen and is about to say the F word, and it goes to the Fable title screen, and then it comes back and it looks as if maybe your Fable character has killed the giant because his glasses are
Sitting
broken
on the
there.
glasses, yeah.
So for me, and I'll pass it over to you guys, I'll go to Josh first. For me, this encapsulated everything I want from Fable in its atmosphere, its mood, its humor, and it was a good show. It was a really good showing for what they were doing, which was basically a trailer with no release date. It was really, really strong and really, really good. I think the biggest problem is just that we've known it. Well, the game was actually leaked or rumored all over the internet in 2018, and then it was shown off with the title card in 2020, and here we are in 2023, and we still don't have much at all.
Nothing.
So the disappointment is in what we don't have. What was there, that was a perfect showing, in my opinion, for Fable, if the expectation was only CG trailer. Josh, what do you think?
I mean, I liked it for what it was. I mean, I thought it looked cool. It looked like it has a lot of comical elements to it. Having Richard in there in whatever capacity he actually ends up being will be cool. I just feel like I still don't really have a good sense of what this game is going to be, and that's where I was kind of a little bummed. It sat between my expectations where I felt like, okay, well, they'll maybe at least show us some kind of dev diary docked thing, and then maybe actually see gameplay, and it was somewhere in between where it's this CG thing. And I liked what was there. It seemed like it's going to have some of that charm, but again, I don't really get a real sense of the game. Is it going to go the Shrek route where it tackles classic fantasy elements like Jack and the Beanstalk, which is what it seemed to focus on? I didn't really, aside from kicking a chicken, I was I don't really know
I think
what to
we're
take
going
from
to
that.
get the Starfield level presentation for Fable in 2 years.
I hope
maybe
that the Starfield Direct and the feedback they get from that helps them for the following years. If Avowed's coming next year after this time of the season, give us some kind of direct, even if it's 20 minutes. You don't have to go 40 minutes.
This is what I'm saying when I gave it a 10. This is the best style of showcase Xbox has ever held. Even some of the ones that went down in history that had really cool bangers usually had something connect or crap in it. This was just solid all the way through. Crayton, what were your first thoughts on Fable?
It seems like that whole Fable section was just to give you a taster of what the game's going to feel like.
Yeah.
Get the tone of what it's going to be like.
The gameplay added up to less than 3 seconds.
Yeah, we have no idea what the gameplay.
No, there was gameplay.
There was.
It was just. It was
that part where she was moving around when he was a giant.
It was from third person. She was jumping through flames and running on the table. The UI wasn't there, but it was gameplay.
Okay, I must have missed that part.
It's literally 3 seconds or less. So.
But yeah, from the tone and everything what I've seen, it seems like old Fable for the most part, which I'm excited about.
And this isn't Lionhead, so that's a good sign. You know,
Yeah, from Playground.
Playground.
I'm excited about it. I just got to wait till...
But we all have the disappointment that there's really nothing to go off of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to get super excited because it could be 3 years away still.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think they
it's
just recently entered full production on that game, is what I heard.
I said 2025 at the beginning of this, but I'm actually thinking now that I'm talking now, I think it's actually 2026 because we have... Wait, actually, no. Let's see. So next year's probably going to be... They're probably going to do
Hellblade and
the
Avowed.
direct for Hellblade or Avowed.
Yeah.
And then the year after that might be the direct. So it could be 2025, but it's definitely a ways out. But, take your time. And the thing is, it seems like this is kind of what Phil was saying in that kind of funny interview, is like he sees the future of like this cadence of games coming out, rolling out.
Yeah,
we already
all those quarterly releases.
Yeah, we already see it this year. Like, this year we're going to have, Redfall sucked, but like we're going to have Redfall, Starfield, Forza, and then also the new Sea of Thieves content and the new Flight Simulator content. And I know that sounds like filler, but like that's real content that people care about. And obviously Starfield's huge, Forza's huge for the right audience, Redfall could have been huge. If they can carry this into next year and we have like our Avowed and then like something like a Hi-Fi Rush and then like another thing, and then we got Hellblade 2 at the end of the year.
Miss me with Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
Not going to play that. Happy for those that do.
Yeah. It looked cool, but it's just not something we're interested in. Okay, moving on from Fable, we have the reveal of South of Midnight, which is from Compulsion Games. This is the first game that they are developing under the Xbox brand. They're known for Contrast and We Happy Few. It seemed mostly like a CG trailer to me again. This is one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, nothing's completely CG trailer. It sure seems like it. Crayton, what were your thoughts of South of Midnight?
Was that the one that was kind of like a creepy
zombie
cowboy?
Dude's like playing the banjo or whatever he's playing.
I like the art style and the tone of it a lot. The Western kind of like puppet looking.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
You remember you probably remember what We Happy Few looks like, and in Contrast, We Happy Few looked like BioShock, kind of.
I never played either one of those. Artistically, they're beautiful games, but I
just thought it was neat that they were showing off the studio they've acquired's new game.
It looks like a cool concept. I just have to see more.
But it's a good first-party new thing.
Yeah, I liked it. It looked cool.
Josh?
That's a good point. I mean, it is awesome to see what they're working on, what the game's going to be, but it was another one where I was like, great, wish I knew more. Wish I knew what it was like. Wish I knew what to expect.
Yeah.
There was also like he's playing, he's strumming that guitar or whatever for a while, and then the girl shows up and the camera pans back, and it's like he's a giant and she's small, and I was like, 2 for 2, David versus Goliath, so hot right now with Xbox, bro.
And then they already got grounded on their platform.
Yeah, well, it's just the Fable one. What they do? Jack and the Beanstalk is a giant and she's little, and I was like, it's the second trailer.
Now I think
we're following it up with that.
Well, going back to Fable for a minute, like my assumption is that they're just the whole Jack and the Beanstalk thing is playing into the fact that that's the Fable universe, right? It's a bunch of fables and fairy tales, things we've more or less seen in history before, but. Yeah, it would suck if...
Well, again, I don't know how to take it because they didn't give me...
If the new Fable game was like a Jack and the Beanstalk game, that would suck. We don't want that. But like, I'm assuming it's just one element of that
I'm
universe.
sure, yeah. I'm sure.
But yeah, so I think collectively from South of Midnight, seeing what...
art style looks cool. I agree with Crayton.
Art style looks cool. We know what another first-party studio is doing.
Yeah. It's nice to see what they're up to, but yeah, I just wish we got a little bit more.
Josh, take us away with Star Wars Outlaws from Ubisoft.
This was cool to see the trailer. I mean, it's Ubisoft's like open world Star Wars game. We're supposed to see more of that today as of this episode going up at the Ubisoft Forward. I thought it looked really cool. It's easy for me to be pleased with this stuff, but at the same time, it's a little ambiguous as to the plot. It looks like it's set in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi from what I've heard, but it's kind of cushioned for me because I know there's going to be a gameplay walkthrough today. So, I mean, what was there was a cool announcement. It was like one of those... I think it's a third-party thing, right? It's not exclusive.
I think it's third-party, yeah. This was just exclusive showing.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's cool to get confirmation of that game. It's cool to see that they're at a point where they're able to show it. And an open-world Star Wars game is something like I'd really love to play. And I think you are playing as that gal in there. I don't know her name, but I don't think it's a create your player or create your own character type of thing. But look cool. It looked cool, and I can't wait to see more today. That's one of the big reasons I can't wait to see Ubisoft's Forward, even though normally I'm like, Ubisoft?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so, Ubisoft actually has something to show this year.
Yeah. And, Avatar.
I think having a new because this is single player, right?
Yes.
Okay, so having a new single player Star Wars game to show off at the Xbox Showcase exclusively, like first, that's a big win, and obviously Star Wars is cool, so like I think it's a big win. For the last year or two, I haven't really been in a Star Wars mood. I've just kind of been fatigued, so it didn't do anything for me in that way, but like I can acknowledge that this is a win and this is cool. So yeah, I mean, Crayton, I'm guessing you're kind of with me probably on that.
Actually, I thought it looked pretty cool.
Okay,
Nice,
Crayton's even more
nice.
excited.
I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I don't really play a lot of the games, but I actually thought it looked really cool. It looked more like the Solo-esque.
Yeah.
Like the movie.
Yeah.
Kinda. I think it looks fun, but I'm not a big fan of Ubisoft games
Yep.
in general.
I didn't say
So
that.
I want to see it.
I would
wanna see
expect
it.
I would expect another game, open world game, where it's just a bunch of filler. Go here, check a box.
Yeah.
I was trying not to be
towers.
negative, but yeah, I don't like anything from Ubisoft ever.
That's
but,
the scary thing with those types of trailers is they get me interested, but then you actually see the gameplay, and sometimes you
Yeah.
can be like, we'll get to that when I talk about Avowed, but there's that part where it can kind of like negate your excitement a bit
Yeah.
once you see what it finally looks like. But at least we only have to wait a day.
Is anyone in this room familiar with what Massive Entertainment's worked on before? I didn't look it up.
No, I
So,
have no idea.
Moving on, we have a game called 33 Immortals, which is basically, Hades, since that game came out, the popularity of the roguelikes have blown up. But this is basically a roguelike where you and 32 other players can play together. It's coming out this year, and it's on Game Pass day one. So I would include this again. Like, I don't believe this is an exclusive to Xbox. It could be, but I don't believe it is. But the fact that it's coming this year, and it's going to be on Game Pass day one, to me, that's a huge win, because this is more...
It says it's out in 2024.
Oh, okay. Actually, my
I'm
mistake,
seeing that
guys.
now.
Yeah, I must have misread the 3 and 20. And
Brian's
33
phone's
Immortals.
coming in clutch.
Yeah, I must have misread that.
No, you're
But
good.
okay, it's coming out next year, but it's coming to Game Pass. I think this is another win. It's something you can play day one, as long as it's a good game. But for me personally, I don't enjoy roguelikes, and Hades. It's kind of like we're seeing, like, people like to mimic like the Sony type cinematic experience
Yeah,
game. People
right.
are trying to mimic Hades now, and if I was going to play anything, I'd probably play Hades. So this isn't for me, but I think it's still a good announcement. Crayton, what do you think?
I agree. Good announcements. I don't like roguelikes, and it's multiplayer. I didn't even realize.
32 other players. Yeah.
Yeah.
No interest.
So not for us. Not for
no
us.
interest in that one.
Josh?
33 reasons not to play it.
There you go.
I'm not interested. I'm not interested in
That's
that
like
game
3
at all.
times in a row now. You had Neva with the PlayStation Showcase. What
Yeah.
was the one? Lost. Oh, there was that one you made. Las Fuegas, or not Fuegas, or.
I don't know.
Del Fuegos from Wild Hogs.
Jesus,
That's a
what
deep
a
cut.
what a reference.
Deep-
Irish
Lost-
Phoenix
or
will latch
something,
on that
but
one.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Look, it's the same reasons Crayton said too. It's a roguelike, a cooperative game. Cool concept, just doesn't interest me. It looks like a Hades clone in its own way, or taking inspiration from it, and that's cool for its audience, but just doesn't interest me. But hey, happy for the
Yeah.
Xbox ecosystem that'll be there.
Moving over to the next one is Payday 3, which this is a game that I personally couldn't care less about, but there is a big player base for these games, and it's coming out literally in September, and it's on Game Pass day one. I think that's a huge pickup for the Game Pass Xbox platform. So great moment in the showcase. I personally don't care about it at all, Josh. Payday 3.
I won't. It's gonna go right over my head because I'm gonna be too busy playing Starfield.
Oh, yeah.
Payday 3. Who cares?
Is there a candy bar called Payday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have more interest in the candy bar. Than
Oh,
that.
bro, me too. I like that. I like that.
I say the only payday that's coming in September is the money that I give.
When I was live reacting to that, I just glazed over that section. Like
Yeah,
they show the mask right away, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I recognize
It's
Payday
Payday,
when I
yeah.
see it. But
Yeah,
I
we don't
I
care
could
about this
less.
game, but it's good to have that this year.
It's got
I
its
think when
audience.
Payday came on and we were yesterday, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to family.
I left the room.
That's the pee break one.
Yeah, I left the room for sure. Okay, this is one that we're all excited about, but I was really excited about because next one was Avowed, and obviously we've all been like in the industry, people have been excited for Avowed and to see more of it, and we finally got to see a lot more of it here, and just seeing a lot more of it, seeing the gameplay made me go, wow, this looks like a really cool game that's exclusive to Xbox that I really want to play. Like, once again, going back to what I said about the showcase having games that I was interested in, that I wanted to play, just off of what I've seen of Avowed today, and the fact it's from Obsidian, this is probably going to be a day one buy for me when it comes out. I thought it looked great. Josh, what did you think of Avowed?
I was kind of mixed, but I mean, I ultimately still like it. Having 3 years to sit on what this game is supposed to look like, I mean, I was kind of thinking like, I had a certain image in my mind, but then I see it and it's less than that, which, to be fair, is my own expectations.
The grandness of Bethesda wasn't there.
Obsidian's games haven't been on a huge level of like visual
This
quality.
seems like Outer
but-
Worlds or whatever.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of that. But it looks really cool. Again, I'm happy to play games set in the universe of Aora from Pillars of Eternity. It makes me want to play those games even more, which I've enjoyed what I have played of those. The gameplay looked cool. It was nice to see first person, some stuff that can maybe scratch my Elder Scrolls itch until that comes out. Like, I'll have Starfield, hopefully Avowed next year, and then Elder Scrolls somewhere off in the horizon. But
I mean,
look cool. The worlds looked interesting. That dude, that fish dude that you're talking to, like, he's kind of like at first. That gave me Elder Scrolls vibes, and I loved that.
See, yeah, it just seemed like a big win for Xbox exclusive to me, because like I always talk about how Sony's got great exclusives, and I love what Sony has, but like I'm more interested in Avowed than like Horizon or some of their other,
How does it stack compared to Spider-Man 2 for you? On
Avowed
a
to
scale?
Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
Well, I do have the love coming in from Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales, so like if Spider-Man 2 is a 10, Avowed's probably like an 8.
Okay,
It's
so
up
it's an
there.
8. That's pretty good. That's
So
pretty good.
this is like actually something to be excited about, right? Like I know it sucks that we're in that's the bleakness we felt from Xbox over the years is where like I'm just excited to have a game that I like want to buy.
Yeah.
And I do want to buy this game. Crayton, what do you think about Avowed?
I thought it would look a little bit more Elder Scrolls-like than it did.
Same.
But I'm super excited for it. Is it a 2024?
That's what they said just that
Yeah.
year.
It reminded me of Outer Worlds, and I really enjoyed Outer Worlds actually.
Same.
So,
What I played of it, I've really
that'll
liked.
definitely be a day one buy
Yeah.
for me whenever it comes out.
Huge win. Another huge
Yeah.
win for Xbox.
No,
This is what we
I liked
expected
it.
to see, though. We expected to see this Avowed.
Yeah, I was happy to at least just get to see it finally. There was the moment where you see the cutscene opens with the guy like walking on the dock, and cuts the close up of the sword on his back, and then you see him like these dudes are readying their weapons and stuff, and that was the moment where I was like, "Is this Avowed?"
Yeah.
And I was like flipping out just seeing it, and then afterward I had that like decompression, but it was cool in the moment. It was cool.
See, I love because we were at me and Crayton were out of town at a family gathering, and Crayton's just sitting on a couch with my phone watching this, and the way it would go is like if it was something not important, Crayton would just be like, "Oh, they're showing this or showing that," but like if they were showing something cool, Crayton would just look up at me subtly, make eye contact, and go, "Avowed."
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's like come sit down because this matters.
And then Brian's like, "How do I tactfully get out of this family interaction so I can come look at this?"
Yeah, because I got like elderly family showing up that hasn't seen me in years, and I'm not gonna blow them off for a showcase that but it's also like, man, they're showing Avowed right now, So
Did you come running over and have your ass cheeks just clapping as you just ran over?
well, now I think as the showcase went on and I realized because family just kept showing up, I was like, I'm not going to be present for this, so I just kind of let it go, and I went back and rewatched all. I mean, I did watch it here and there as
I picture you like that one what is that meme from Les Miserables? I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's that gif of Russell Crowe where he's looking in the window.
Oh yeah,
like Crayton's just in there, just like looking at the Avowed, and you're just like,
oh, what really sucked is I came around the corner at one point where Starfield showing was going on, and Crayton's like, they just showed something really cool that it was unexpected, and I was like, what is it? And he's like, I'm too busy watching to tell you, and I'm like, what is it? And then Erica's like, it was really cool, and I'm like, what is it? And then I found it was the Dorian fan thing, which we'll come back to.
yes,
But
emotional with that.
let's pass over to Josh. He's the resident Sea of Thieves fan here. Monkey Island crossover coming this
Really
year.
cool. When they first literally had Lucasfilm or whatever pop up first, I thought, is this going to be a Star Wars crossover?
I thought Indiana Jones.
You thought Indiana Jones? I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that. But yeah, I thought of the
I
least
forgot
likely
about that. I'm surprised they didn't show Indiana Jones in any way.
That's a good point. They didn't.
Well,
really.
Even a teaser.
To go for it's a side tangent here, but like one of the things that many people, including Josh and I, were like prediction hype thing was like, oh, we're going to see Machine Games, are we going to see Wolfenstein?
No Wolfenstein, no Quake.
Are we going to see it? Are we going to see Quake? But once again, going back to my 10-10 score for this is like what I'm seeing here is maybe 2024 Avowed, Hellblade, little tease for Fable, right? I'm just making stuff up. 2025. Fable's coming out that year. Little tease for Quake. Little tease for Wolfenstein 3. Indiana Jones. So we can get to the point where we're approaching 2030, and we've just got this cadence of games that we actually care about, AAA coming out from Microsoft. If that's what they can do, and that's what Phil says he wants to do, then that's freaking awesome.
That was my big takeaway. Is the reason we had like a 40-some minute demo of Starfield is because they know that's their heavy hitter.
Yeah.
You put in all this money for Bethesda so you can have a game like this come out and you want to promote it as like this is your baby, this is like the Xbox thing to get, and then here's all this other stuff that's coming out. Like Starfield's coming out this year, so we're going to pay the most attention to it at the end, but here's all this stuff to look ahead at 2024 and maybe a little bit of 2025. So
And
in that sense I give them credit.
We have to be fair because what's been a big criticism? Oh, you guys showed off a slew of things in 2020. None of them were even remotely close to coming out. So there's a very good chance right now they could have just had a title card Quake teaser, and that could have upped our excitement for the showcase. But if Quake is not coming until 2029, that would have been the mistake we didn't want to make again. So
no,
I think
true.
you know,
If it's going to be 3 years out, I'd prefer they just don't show anything.
yeah, exactly. And I think what they did here was low key. They low key did the 12-month thing again. They didn't put a 12-month thing to it, but it's pretty evident what they're showing here is like, for the most part, barring like maybe Fable, this is by the end of 2024.
Yeah.
Ideally, you're going to play all this. But they didn't make that commitment to where they're going to look stupid when they fail like they did with Starfield again.
But yeah, to summarize on that, I mean, Sea of Thieves stuff, it's cool to see. You know, I keep thinking, what else could they do? They did the Pirates of the Caribbean crossover. Now they're doing Monkey Island, which is awesome. Guybrush Threepwood is like older, so it seems like storyline-wise it's taking place after those Monkey Island games. That's really cool. I mean, I haven't played it in a long time. I know Diente plays it. and stuff like that. But yeah, cool for people that are still playing it. Good to see. Glad to see they're still pumping out content.
Crayton, you got anything more to say on that? We'll just go right into.
I mean, I've always been interested in Sea of Thieves, but since it's a multiplayer game, it's not something I'm going to play.
It's hard for the stars to align for all of us to play that, but we'd have.
We should do it one time just for Josh. Josh's sake. Let's just go in. This is a similar type topic here. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. New content for Microsoft Flight Simulator, including a Dune-themed expansion. Once again, I think this is just more content, more Game Pass stuff, more for Xbox. It's a game that we don't currently play. It's just more content for it, but I think this is still a win. Crayton, what do you think?
Yeah, I probably won't ever play Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's actually surprising, though. My wife was sitting next to me watching this, and she's a huge fan of Dune, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And she saw the Dune tie-in, and she's like, oh, that's so cool. But she probably won't play it either.
Yeah. But for that audience that's already there, this is more content for them.
You're right. I mean, this is... I don't know if they say it on here. Sorry, Brian. It looks like it's a new game. It's not just Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's 2024's version.
Yeah. It's going to be a yearly thing now.
Yeah, and they offer now a ton of different things. Like you're still flying stuff, but you can now have like jobs and tasks and stuff.
I just wish they'd change the name because I think I'd be more interested if this, instead of flights, you got Forza, right? Like, if this was called like, jet fuel or something.
Well, I guess they're still capitalizing on the old PC fame and
which
nostalgia.
Is so strange, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean that was all they had back then before Xbox, right? But I could care less. Happy for people that are going to play it. Oh yeah, definitely looks pretty.
To me, this is still like, in my opinion, when I see more content for Sea of Thieves or more content for Flight Simulator, this is still a bigger win than super obscure, far out indie title that doesn't show me gameplay or let me know what it is.
Brian, you're trapped. It's been for 2 weeks in a room, and you got Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and you got Foam Star. What are you playing?
Flight Simulator. Dude, I can experience the world. Foam Star, I can experience bubbles in anime. I don't know.
I don't feel like there'd be a party that's sitting there, and Brian, I'm looking at you, and I'm like, "Are you enjoying it, Brian?" You're like, "No."
I know. I bet in Flight Simulator one day I'll be able to fly low and see someone playing Foam Stars through the window. So I just get them both.
I like that.
Brian would come out of there after 2 weeks, be like, "I think I'm gonna go get my flight license."
That could be my career. Who knows? And then I'll be like, "Hey guys, this is Brian podcasting from the airways. Josh is on ground. We're doing this all online." Next one, big one, guys. One we all wanted to see. We knew would be there. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. I think the biggest ask that we all had was lots of gameplay, and it comes out this year also. But we kind of knew, like, on one hand, it's been long enough that could happen. On the other hand, it's like, that's a big ask because we already got Starfield this year. Turns out it is coming out next year. No definitive window, just 2024. They showed some gameplay, but they oddly enough didn't choose a section of gameplay that was like blowing us away. It did look graphically amazing. It was gameplay. Really excited for this title. We all like the original. For me, I have a feeling, especially Josh, but maybe both these guys, are going to be a little more probably hard on it than me. For me, this is just a huge win. I got to see more of a game I loved. It's coming to Xbox next year. I wanted more, but I'm not disappointed. Crayton, you go first.
I think it's a huge win for this game. I loved the original one so much. Even if they showed stuff and it ended up not coming out until 2027, I'd still be a day one buy for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was so good. And you saying it kind of looked more cinematic. The original game had a lot of moments that
that's true.
You couldn't tell if it was gameplay or cinematic.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's kind of how this one was. So I think it looked great. I'm super excited to play it.
Okay. What about you, Josh?
Well, I'm reading this right now, and it says off this article, Ninja Theory says all this footage was captured on an actual Xbox Series. And there was one game, I can't remember which, but they advertised, and maybe it was Starfield, but I think they said it was like PC with like Xbox resolution or something they had at the very bottom. And I'm glad they're confirming that, because a lot of these games sometimes has been a bait and switch, like with Redfall, where they show off PC gameplay, but yet, it's being advertised as coming to Xbox and stuff. So that's cool to see. I thought the best part was when I saw that hottie at the very beginning of the thing. The girl who's playing Senua. I mean, she's super cute. I love her. Looking to get wiped up. So that was a pretty cool part. But what I actually saw,
I'm sure with her stature as a main character in a AAA game, where she's really looking to date is a small podcast that used to be based on Halo.
Yeah, I'm here simping, simping at the ready.
I'm pretty sure she's from Germany also.
That's all right. I'll learn
Josh
to speak
you're going to have to come here.
I'll learn to speak it.
You would say that, You got to come here, baby.
But no, what was there contextually, I don't care. I mean, I thought it was kind of boring. Like it was a strange portion to show because it doesn't really give you any more sense of the game, but obviously the binaural sound you can tell is there, all the different voices in her head, going off. That was really cool. I'm excited for this game, period. I was going to get it no matter what. what they showed just didn't do much for me personally.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just, I mean, what they showed the very first time with that giant person like coming out, that was good enough for me. But it's good to see an update, good to see a 2024 release date. I was a little surprised. I think they said early 2024 for this one. But if that's to be believed, I mean, we're getting Starfield, and then we're getting, quarter 3, and then quarter 4 is probably Forza, and then this is maybe quarter 1, hopefully.
Forza was October.
Yeah, okay.
I was thinking maybe Avowed being a smaller project would be quarter 1 next year.
You think so?
And then this would be
Yeah,
very
maybe.
tail end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't. Either way, the fact
I thought
that
they
it's-
said early for that one, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't. I wasn't paying as much attention as you. But still, it's kind of crazy once again to realize this is Game Pass day 1. I know, like, me and Crayton are going to buy this game, but like the fact you're going to get something quality like Starfield and Hellblade 2. Game Pass is pretty incredible.
I hate
Sony
to say
would
it,
never
but
do that.
that's more of a Sony level type game to me. Like,
So,
not
yeah,
a
no, I
knock on
agree.
Avowed, but like Avowed doesn't quite hit that same
I
cinematic
agree.
bar. But that has it, so I'm happy to see that we're
Like,
getting
and you're
that.
never going to see Sony like launch Ragnarok or something to just free for their service. It's
Right.
never going to happen. So
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive. Next we have this one. I'm going to pass one over to
Well,
Josh.
If I can say this real quick,
Go ahead.
it's just a big takeaway too. Is I think now that we're starting to see the scope of their games, like we're finally at that point where we're almost like getting there to where it does actually feel like Xbox is getting to that point where they're like finally catching up.
Yeah.
I'm happy and I'm excited, but that's where it's going to feel really cool to be a Game Pass member. When the actual bangers are just
Yeah.
rolling out and you're like day one Game Pass, day one Game Pass.
And all the little stuff in between. It's like I don't have time for another console. I just
Yeah,
have my
every
free...
one of these were like they'd open with world premiere and then they end with play it day one on Game Pass.
You know what I gotta say? I always hated that world premiere shit because I'm like,
I
this
love
is
it
such
now.
filler. But now I love it because
I love it.
It's not those freaking Sony symbols.
Yeah.
The Sony
Oh my
symbols was
gosh.
so stupid. It's like not only like it's their version of world premiere, but they're like, we're gonna slowly show you the symbols you've seen 1,000 times, and there's no one's saying anything.
You remember the buttons on the controller? Here they
I
are.
was like, oh yeah, I remember. Thank you. You reminded me 17 times, so that was ridiculous.
The summer Game Pass having the Samsung
See,
commercials.
I think I don't need to be inappropriate, but I'm gonna go ahead and be. I think Microsoft shit down Sony's throat with Showcase this year. I think this was way better than Sony's Showcase, and I think Sony 9 times out of 10 does a better job than Xbox. That's my opinion.
Just the one time.
This is the one time Sony's Showcase was just weak. So many of their games were on other platforms already. Stuff we already knew about. Spider-Man 2 went on for way too long, and it was their one more thing. But to be fair, Microsoft's one more thing kind of was Starfield, but it just hit different. than
Well,
Spider-Man did.
they were showing each section of the game and going into detail. Spider-Man was just an uninterrupted gameplay sequence.
And it was
for
too
like-
much.
point.
It was
Yeah.
too
And the
much.
thing is,
yeah.
we knew they had prepped us saying like this is gonna more or less end with Starfield.
Well, and we
whereas-
already know what Spider-Man 2 is going to be like.
Yeah.
Starfield, we're still
It
like we
was-
didn't know.
Still didn't have a good
Everyone
grasp
knows
on
what
it.
Spider-Man 2 is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I would argue moments like Fable kind of hit big, like we wanted the end of Sony to hit, even though we criticized Fable a little bit. Like that still kind of hit as a big moment. Seeing Fable to me, where
Hey,
it's like,
better than the marathon announcement at the Sony
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
What the
so-
hell was that?
This was way better. But moving along, I'll let Josh take this because I think he knows a little bit more than me. But like, we saw another Like a Dragon, which for those of you who don't know, Like a Dragon and Yakuza are the same series. They kind of swap out titles. But we saw another Like a Dragon game at the Xbox Showcase. There was one at Summer Games Fest, so I was just surprised to see two. I don't know if
Yeah.
these are different
No,
developers or what.
I don't know. I don't know either.
What is it about Microsoft and showing butt cheeks? I mean, you got the Halo show.
That was
you
hilarious.
got-
We did get nudity in that. And it
I
was
like
actually-
that the guy who's not usually on this podcast called out the Halo butt cheeks
Yeah.
because everyone's so
Master
tired.
Cheeks.
Master Cheeks, man. Yeah, that was our
This
closest
is
to Halo
called
moment. we
Like a
got.
Dragon Infinite Wealth. Josh, what do you think? Is something you'll buy?
I mean,
You can-
well, no, because I'm so behind on the series,
Yeah.
but I mean, it looks like something I'd want to play. I thought it was fun. It says in here, I mean, and they're right, that it had the Austin Powers, like, clever running joke, running gag of, like, they're going to cover up every time it shows him full frontal with, like,
Yeah.
a character, like, laying down someone's drink,
Yeah.
you know, a surfboard.
They
stuff
show
like
his butt
that.
cheeks, though.
Yeah, they do show his butt cheeks, but everything else, they're like, nope, not going to do that. Butt cheeks are okay now. But, yeah, it looks cool. It's just, it's getting to be that, like, the Assassin's Creed series, that if you didn't play it from the get-go, you either sacrifice any other games you want to play and just entirely devote yourself to a gaming career down that franchise, or you fall behind and you have to cherry pick
Josh,
what
do you
wanna
think
play.
this would have hit harder or worse if at the last possible moment they just let it hit the dick and balls hang out, just like straight up?
Play it day one on Game Pass.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect sales pitch. Crayton, what do you think about this? Anything to say?
I think those games look interesting, but I just don't have the time.
It's too much.
Yeah,
Wizards are like,
it's too much.
It's too much.
Brian.
It's too much.
We're in person. We can say that.
Albino's so happy right now. Yeah, there's like what 10 games. I mean, I can't. I
Yeah,
just
there's a
can't do
lot.
it. Moving along to this, we can almost kind of rope this in with the flight simulator and the see if things.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Okay, so like I personally, Brian Arvett, I hate the whole live service thing. I don't like these kind of games. I want my single player, high quality games. But Microsoft is doing what Sony's trying to start doing, which is getting into this live service market. And we saw at Sony Showcase, they flooded us with all these live service things coming and like, hey, we're moving in this direction. Microsoft's already kind of been there. And it was nice to see that right here. I don't know if this is coming out. It doesn't say. Yeah, it doesn't say when the update's coming.
Who cares?
But Fallout 76 is getting an Atlantic City update. And I think for the people who are playing these live service games, which there's a lot of them, right? It's younger generations who didn't grow up with these cinematic...
Yeah, I made you crack.
I'm smiling at Josh, but I'm trying to keep my composure here. But you have Sea of Thieves, Flight Simulator, and Fallout 76 all getting these big updates. These games all have sizable player bases, so I think this was another good announcement here. More Fallout 76. Obviously, people like me and Josh and Crayton don't really care. I think a lot of people in our community don't care. But I still think it was a win. Crayton, what do you think, Fallout 76?
I mean, from what I hear, Fallout 76 is a lot of fun now.
Yeah.
For me, like I already don't have enough time to play games, so the idea of a game that I'm gonna have to play every 2 weeks to keep up with the amount of content,
No interest.
No interest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same for me. Seems like a game that has this audience, and if I was younger, like late teen, early 20s, I mean, it could be something I'd maybe get into, but I feel like I'm getting my Fallout fix kind of elsewhere. I'm going to have, Avowed on the horizon. I got Starfield this year. I'm kind of getting that with other stuff, so I don't really need it for that.
Would you guys say it was a win still, or no?
Indifferent. Indifferent. No, who cares?
I think it's expected that they're going to keep putting out content.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess cool for the
Down the middle.
for its
Down the
audience.
I'm disappointed they didn't say anything about the Fallout 4 Next Gen update, because I was looking forward to that.
Yeah, we kind of thought that might be there too, because they said there was going to be a next gen Fallout 4.
They are supposed to be doing
it's based
like
on
that's actually coming. That's confirmed. It's just
they are supposed to be doing some more stuff this week, like Xbox, whatever that was called.
They said
So
that
we
they
know
said
they're
that-
not going to reveal anything.
They said there's an extended stuff where we'll get better looks at
We've
some
been
of
let
these games,
down
and I
before.
don't.
I do
yeah,
not
I
trust
don't
it.
know.
Maybe
I wanna-
Fallout 4 Next Gen will be thrown in.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to mispronounce this. The next game is Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess. Is from Capcom. I have no interest in this type of game, and I have so little interest that I actually don't even know if this is a win for the showcase. I'd like to think maybe it is, but I just...
Is that the one that kind of looks samurai, like Neo-esque, kind of?
What do you guys say? I don't have anything to add to this.
What do you think,
It's
Crayton?
not for me. It was there.
Who gives a shit? Yeah, who cares? I mean, I saw that and I was watching it, live reacting to it, and I was like, what is this game? And then everyone's talking super fast in Japanese, and I couldn't keep up with it. It was like sensory overload.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy for those who are excited.
Another huge win for the showcase, but completely expected. Forza Motorsport comes out this October, day one on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like I said, that just adds to the whole. You got Starfield in September. Maybe once people, and obviously no one's sitting at this round table right now, but like some people, by the time they get to October, they'll be okay to put Starfield down for a little bit to play some Forza. Not us, but Forza's there. It's gonna be day one on the Game Pass. I mean,
I really enjoy racing games like Gran Turismo 7. I played a lot of that, so I will be playing a lot of this game, but probably like December next year.
Yeah.
Is
Like
it a
after
buy
I
for
finish
you, or is
Starfield.
it a Game Pass? Like, is it a day one or a buy at some point?
I still buy all my
You still
games,
buy?
so
Okay.
yeah. But by the time I finish Starfield, like I don't know, middle of next year,
Oh, yeah, hopefully it'll be like $30 or something. Yeah. I thought it was cool how they handled the game. Like, it's obviously one of their babies, so they did have a moment where you actually had someone come out, because we saw like Sarah Bond in the beginning, who's super fine, and then we have Phil Spencer at the very end and stuff like that. But we didn't have too many people that we saw this
where was
time.
the booty? Where was the Matt Booty?
Matt Booty. The booty was in that Like a Dragon preview.
Yeah.
But with this, I thought it was cool. They had a guy come out. He briefly kind of talks about it. But instead of doing like a little bit more of a deep dive, which is what I feel like we got with Forza Horizon 4 or Witcher 5, whatever the one was last year, they kind of kept this short, but they still kind of had a little bit more emphasis on it. I like the Horizon series better than Motorsports series, but cool to see.
yeah, I like Motorsport better.
You like
I'm not
Motorsport?
an arcade racer.
No,
fan.
totally fair.
Yeah, definitely a win.
I just suck at the motorsport ones, but that's cool. Cool to see.
Next we had Persona 5 Tactica, which is... I'm not familiar with the Persona series and exactly what this is, but I know the Persona series is highly acclaimed and loved, and the more that Microsoft gets these type of games on their platform, that's more of a win. So I say this is a win, not something I care about. I don't got much more to say. Guys, we're 42 minutes in. I know we're going to talk about Starfield a lot, so I'll let you dictate how much you want to talk about Persona 5
I'm not in a hurry.
Tactica.
I'm not in a hurry, but no, I mean, yeah, not interested, but I know it's got its fans, and happy to see. There was a lot of Persona stuff here at this showcase, so cool for those who are interested.
I've heard those games are great, but personally, I'm never gonna play it.
Immediately after this, we got a new Starfield gameplay trailer, which was kind of interesting. They put a trailer for Starfield in the main showcase, and then they showed more later, which I know some people criticize, but it might have been smart to say, "Hey, hold your seat." Like
It was like, hey, stick around
because we got a lot, and they did not let us down later. So we'll come back to that because we're going to talk about Starfield more. After that was a game called Jusant, I believe is how it's pronounced. I'm sorry.
He makes it sound French.
I don't know what
Toussaint.
the names of these games.
Yeah, I have no idea,
ridiculous.
but we saw somebody climbing a mountain, kind of reminded me of Breath of the Wild. I have nothing to say on it. To me, if I had to, I don't think this conference really had much like sag or like a moment of dragging. But if I had to choose, it's around Jusant.
Fair enough. I thought it looked all right.
Sag these nuts.
Crayton coming in with the D's nuts.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Crayton listens. Crayton listens to every episode of the podcast, every single one. So he's not only
touched.
He's here, but he also listens. We're gonna move on from that. Next, we have Still Wakes the Deep. It's a short trailer from the studio, the Chinese Room, which I'm not aware of. It looks like a horror type thing, and it nothing much is revealed.
I thought it looked kind of cool. It was like you're like on an oil rig and you're like doing puzzles. I don't know. I might play it at some point.
Still, this is kind of where it sagged a bit, right? There's not
Wake
much
me
to
when
say.
we get to Starfield.
Okay.
You know? I was snoozing.
Moving on. Next, we had Dungeons of Hinterberg. It says, who's this by? I'm not even sure, but it's
That was that cooperative.
okay.
It was like a comic book style art.
Yeah.
Style.
This is where they channeled that Summer Games Fest interview.
I won't play it. My wife thought it looked cool.
Oh, wait,
but she
no.
won't play it either.
Yeah, I'm totally mixing it up. That one I actually was kind of interested in.
But it's coming on Game Pass
Yeah.
day one. Coming out.
I'll
next
try it
year.
on Game Pass. That's a Game Pass try.
So that's a good
For
one.
sure.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like we've seen a lot of Keanu Reeves lately, but it still hit me. It still worked for me. Seeing him again for Cyberpunk 2077. It's a shame that Cyberpunk has gotten so much crap, deservedly, because of the way it released. When in fact it's actually a really good game. We got more to see on Phantom Liberty. This is a common prediction among everyone that we might see this here. More to see on Phantom Liberty and what that's bringing to the Cyberpunk universe. Keanu Reeves was out there talking about it. Obviously, Idris Elba is going to be in this. We just got to get Nick Cage in there.
Yeah, right.
This was a huge win for me. I'm going to buy this. Maybe not day one, but I'm going to buy this. I'm going to play this. I'm glad Xbox
I've
had
heard it's
it.
around 30-ish.
And they had Keanu Reeves there. We didn't have anybody like that at the Sony showcase. So big win for me. What do you think, Josh?
I think it's awesome because what I'm hearing too is this isn't just an expansion. This is sort of a big overhaul to the base game, like a 2.0. Like the police system and everything in the game is going to be overhauled, so they'll actually chase after you. If you get to like I think some kind of like 5-star thing similar to like GTA, then I think MedTac or something like that. I can't remember their name. They come after you. The weapons are different. The perk system's going to be completely reworked. A lot of stuff like that's going to be completely changed from the base up, which makes me excited. I think there's going to be random missions where you can go like steal vehicles, turn them in, and stuff like that. Random carjacking stuff where people will be, you'll encounter someone like in a car chase with somebody. Stuff to make the city feel like it's alive and breathing without you there.
Seems like a 2.0 to the game.
When I would just bullet through the quests, I remember in that game I was like, oh wow, this has a lot of life to it. But then there's times when you're just in the city and it's just dead characters walking.
Yeah, and they all wearing the same clothes.
But I'm excited. I mean, this is pretty much they're coming full circle, wrapping this game up, and it sounds like it's going to be a meaty bit of content. Can't wait to play it.
Yeah, I want to replay Cyberpunk. I played
Same.
it right when it came out. I didn't wait for it to be fixed, so my PS5 crashed every 10 minutes. And
Big
I
dick
just
on
booted
Crayton
back
right
up
now.
and kept going. But yeah, I play that. I don't know when it'll be because Starfield.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it's funny to me, and like we'll get into this more when we get to Starfield, but like to me, Starfield feels more like the delivery of the promise of Cyberpunk than Cyberpunk itself.
I actually thought that. Like, there's a lot of
It hurts.
There's a lot of vibes in Starfield that look kind of Cyberpunk.
Like, this is really like if we got what we were hoping, this is Starfield.
I could see
And
that.
like when they showed we'll get to it, but we showed New Atlantis, and that reminded me when they showed off the city in Cyberpunk, like the amount of people walking around and everything.
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is, like, CD Projekt Red has put out one of the best games ever made in Witcher 3, but they tried to jump to that Bethesda level when they weren't there yet. In a sense, I think. Moving along, we have City Skylines 2. I have no interest in this game personally. This is part of what I call the SAG of game shows again. What do you guys think? I got nothing.
happy for Microsoft. They're like, hey, we see you guys. Yeah. We know we want to accommodate every gamer. That's what I felt.
The
like
thing is, the SAG was so minimal to me compared to other showcases. That's why I don't. And when I say 10-10 for the showcase, objectively, guys, obviously it's not a perfect showcase.
This was SAG and like slightly to the left swinging. You know what I'm saying?
Like a perfect showcase to me would just be like they come out and they're like, hey, Fable gameplay, Avowed gameplay, Quake gameplay, Wolfenstein gameplay, Starfield gameplay, and we're done.
This stuff, I'll say this. This stuff like this, I don't care about. I know it has its audience. I don't care about. But it's cool because since there was so much AAA stuff that we finally got to see, and it feels like all of it's like relatively close on the horizon this time, that part makes stuff like that not so bad. Kind of like you said, the SAG in essence is kind of mitigated because it balances out with everything else.
It fills the corners like we talked about when Josh has this thing where like we eat food, right? You say you get pizza and you get all full, but then you got to get like a chocolate bar just to fill the corners. You know, you're not quite
cap it off.
Crayton, got anything to say on City Skylines 2?
No.
Moving on, this is going to be my new phrase when I really like something. Metaphor refantasio.
Yeah, what?
It's a JRPG from Studio Zero, the makers of Persona 3 and 4.
Yes, yeah.
Probably some people out there who really care about this. It's going to be on Game Pass day one, but it was not Fantasio to me.
Missed me with that. I'm not playing that.
Great.
Cool to see for Persona fans, though. Happy for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Moving along. We got, next one was Towerborn. It says...
Towerboard. You know what I'm saying?
Towerborn. I was Towerborn. See, we're really, once again, we're really in the SAG here, guys, but this is from the people who did the Banner Saga
I'm going to
trilogy.
say what I want to say real quick, because I got to use the bathroom.
Okay.
And this is the perfect time. Don't care.
Okay. Very nice, Crayton. Very nice. Maybe go from, whatever. But yeah, Towerborn, another part of the SAG here, but it's from the Banner Saga trilogy people, which I know that a lot of people really love the Banner Saga trilogy. So I don't know. This, I mean, it's on Game Pass. It's something else.
When they said Banner, from the makers of Banner Saga, I thought, oh, this might be something like that, and it's completely different than that. So I don't know. It just doesn't interest me.
Didn't really care.
Much.
Next one coming up. This is something that actually kind of excited me. From a studio, I wasn't sure I'd buy a game from the studio, but this actually kind of interests me. The only problem I have with this is it seems like this could be very far away. We're talking. This could be a 2027, 2028. That is Clockwork Revolution, which gave me BioShock Infinite vibes the second I saw it, and I know some people hate on that game. I love BioShock Infinite, but it's from In Exile. It's their next big game for Xbox, and it basically shows a very, like, if you've played BioShock Infinite, the city of that game, kind of a steampunky-esque aesthetic, first-person, in the sky type look. That's what this game has here. It's from, we know that Microsoft, recently, a few years ago, acquired In Exile. This is going to be a nice big game to have on the Xbox as an exclusive. I think it was a win, especially since we've never seen this before, right? This isn't like the third time we've seen it, so this is a big win.
Right.
Josh, what are your thoughts on Clockwork Revolution?
I feel pretty similar. I mean, it was cool to see this. I've heard that In Exile was working on a steampunk first-person RPG for like 2 years. I've heard about it for 2 years, and it's cool to finally see what it looks like. It kind of reminded me a bit of like Dishonored meets a little bit of like, I guess, BioShock, which, I mean, those do kind of go hand in hand in some ways, visually, artistically, but with steampunk approach. And look, I mean, I like my first-person RPGs. I really, really enjoyed what looks to be a lot of potential for this game, and the fact that it says in due time, that's another thing where it's like, that would really bug me. Like, if the showcase was mainly Fable with no release date, Clockwork Revolution with in due time, and a couple of these other ones, and then filtered in with like Microsoft and all that stuff, Flight Simulator, I'd be like, what a dud. But
I would say if you can't release this game within 2 years, you showed it too early.
Yeah, but the fact that there's so much, Starfield's this year, and they went so in depth with that, as we'll get to, and then next year you have a lot of 2024 stuff, it seems like, from Microsoft. It makes the in due time not so bad. It makes it go like, oh, cool, Because I mean, one of the things I did say in one of the other episodes was, I want to get more updates on the stuff that's coming this year, what we can expect, and then some stuff for like maybe next year, but then also what's on the horizon, and that's a game right there that's, I think, on the horizon.
Crayton, did you get Clockwork Revolution, BioShock Infinite vibes?
Yeah.
Yeah, BioShock Infinite.
Is In Exile, are they the ones that made the Wasteland?
Yes, I think that is them.
Did Microsoft buy them?
Yep, they own. Yep.
Okay. I played some of Wasteland and never finished it, but I liked it.
Is it a bit like XCOM?
It's
XCOM,
it's like a turn-based isometric. Okay. So I wonder if that game, the Clockwork Revolution, will be like that or not. But I like the vibes. I'm a big BioShock Infinite fan.
Good chance some of you play, right?
Yeah.
I think we're all on the same page with that. And like we were saying, this is the first time that it's been shown, so despite it not coming out soon, like, it's not like they've shown us 3 times. It's like, oh, when's it coming out? It's the first time. Now, it's interesting the way that Microsoft structured this conference, right? Because they had, going in, it was like, there's going to be a Starfield Direct. So Starfield's going to be the end of this long extended showcase, Starfield at the end. So when, instead of having that typical, one more thing as you would picture, their last announcement that wasn't Starfield was actually a new Xbox console, in the sense that it was an Xbox Series S that comes in black with 1 terabyte. No one had leaked this or rumored this. This wasn't obviously your one more thing, like video game showcase moment, but it was something unexpected, something cool for people. They can go pick up the Series S console, prepare for Starfield. It's got a terabyte there. I think this was a cool announcement. I mean, obviously, if they didn't have Starfield to follow up, what a lame way to go out, but that's not the showcase that we're setting up here. So for me, this is a win. I wish they could get that price point to $300 though, because if this was $300, holy crap, a 1 terabyte Black Series S.
Was it $350?
It's $350.
Yeah.
And it comes out though right in time for Starfield, so people can come in and say, hey, I got my Starfield. I
Get
got
the
my
Starfield
Series S.
collectors, get the Series S.
You could get literally, you could get the Starfield game with like, you could even get like the deluxe edition and get the console and tax and be still under the price of Series X. I think it's genius. So, what do you guys think of the console? Crayton, you go first.
I actually thought it was a really good announcement. I mean, people are always wanting more storage for the consoles,
Right.
And everyone also wants the option of colors.
Yeah.
So having a black one.
And that console looks cool. It's small.
It does look cool.
Having
Yeah.
to be black.
I think it looks better because the 1S has got that weird like black vent circle.
Well, that's still there on this, but they're both black.
Yeah, so it matches. So
Yeah.
I think it looks better.
Josh, what do you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, it didn't really do anything for me, but it's because I've owned a. I feel a little cheated in a way because I'm like, well, I bought your Series X day one.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here 3 years later waiting for your games. Now they're like, here's a new version of the Series S with better storage and all that. I'm like, I mean, but that's cool.
Especially when, like you said, like you have a friend who's bought a Series
Yes,
X recently,
yeah,
and now
Jeff bought it
they
for that.
can't get in on this
Yeah.
because they bought it too early.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. But okay, guys, I'm gonna
still
kinda-
cool.
I'm gonna set us up before we go into Starfield. And I'll let Crayton take it away first because Crayton's favorite game of all time is Oblivion, so I'm gonna let him take it away. But you know, when I'm going back to, and I know I'm the one who's really like driving home my whole 10-10 score thing for the showcase, but it's obviously the most like, kind of making a statement score of the three of us here. But you know, when you get to the end of the showcase, let's pretend Starfield only had the gameplay, because we said that Starfield had a gameplay or a little trailer in the middle, right? If they only had that in the middle, and let's say they moved Hellblade to the end, or maybe they moved Fable to the end. Pick one of those two, move it to the end, so you can open with Fable, end with Hellblade, have Starfield in the middle. They didn't have the 45 minutes of Starfield from the end. That showcase to me still would have been one of Xbox's better showcases, and still would have probably got at least an 8, if not a 9 out of me without the 45 minutes of extended Starfield, because what you have there is like an hour showcase that opens with Fable, closes with Avowed, has a new console, has Avowed, all this stuff, and all the seasonal content for games like Fallout and other stuff like this, plus a few little indies, and then you have like your Clockwork game that we hadn't seen yet. So for me, this was an incredibly strong showcase if you take away the 45 minutes of Starfield time.